What movie did you expect to be bad but was actually good? The Matrix. I was in high school and my friends and I hadn't seen much in terms of ads. My girlfriend worked at a theater, so we went the night before it released. Which was a bad sign. Usually employees got to see bad/low quality films the night before release. It was a full house of shitty teenagers. I kinda expected a The Net or something, and my friend group were ready to MST3K the shit out of this cheesy movie. And then the opening music sting happens and it got real quiet. Until people started cheering. I left the theater thinking I had just seen my generation's Star Wars. My boyfriend at the time kept making jokes about it being a movie about Boron. I hadn't seen a movie preview for it yet, so I didn't realize he was joking and couldn't imagine why he was wanting to watch it. It turned out it was a great movie. The Mummy, 1999, the trailers of the time didn't do it many favors. It looked like a brainless summer movie, aka fast food, perhaps filling but forgettable. It was a summer movie, but it was so much fun, well crafted and fresh. It's still one of my favorite movies to this day. It's a classic. Hey, O'Connell. It looks to me like I've got all the horses. Hey, Benny. Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river. The 90s Mortal Kombat film. I thought it was gonna be so-so, but not special, since video games films in the late 80s/early 90s are mostly lame. Also, I'm not into the video games. But I genuinely enjoyed it. You don't have to be a die-hard fan of the games to understand the plot. The fight scenes were awesome, and the special effects were pretty high-budget, advanced for its time. All in all, it was really fun and I would totally watch it again. Timer. Found it scrolling Netflix board forever ago. It's about a world where an Apple/Google type company has invented a device which, when implanted in your wrist, starts a countdown to the moment you and your true love will first make eye contact. Sounds like either some stupid saccharine you can't quantify love bullshit or a dumb rom-com, but it actually wound up avoiding all the obvious pitfalls and instead delivered this really thoughtful, tense, emotional examination of love, romance, and our expectations around them. A Knight's Tale. The anachronism of the Queen soundtrack combined with the young cast led me to the conclusion that this would be a sappy teenage drama set in the Middle Ages. A very talented cast with some clever writing elevated a ridiculous and tired premise. The movie is basically a high school sports movie with a teen romance. They cast a recent up-and-comer pretty boy heartthrob to play the lead and hired a bunch of nobodies to fill out the rest of the cast. The only twist was they set it in medieval times, so the sport was justing instead of football or whatever, but still used modern music to the point that at one of the tournaments the crowd is even doing the stomp clap thing from We Will Rock You. That sounds like a recipe for an absolute cringe-fest disaster. Instead, it's actually quite entertaining and heartfelt. It probably helped they pretty boy Heath Ledger was in fact a solid actor, and the nobodies were Paul Bettany and Alan Tudyk before they had done anything worth mentioning, and an only mildly famous at the time Mark Addy. A good script and excellent performances turned what should have been a turd into an above-average piece of entertainment. I think it was the director who pointed this out. The soundtrack is anachronistic, but so is pretty much every soundtrack that's been made for movies taking place in the Middle Ages. The orchestras necessary to perform the more classical instrumental soundtracks didn't even really begin to be a thing until hundreds of years after most of those movies take place. Edit, typo. You also get Robert, of the House Baratheon, first of his name. King of the Undulls, of the Rhoynar, and of the First Men. Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protector of the Realm, knitting a tunic for the Joker, while Vision teaches Joker and Wash how to dance. A Knight's Tale is personally my favorite sports movie. The cast and script are absolutely untouchable. The chemistry of the main character party is as good as Princess Bride. Yes, the Matrix trilogy didn't nearly measure up to the overall storytelling/presentation of the original Star Wars, but as far as impact of the first one? Yeah. Similar to Star Wars, The Matrix just did so many new, fresh things, and was a huge achievement. I think that was the first movie I saw with Heath Ledger in it. It was also the movie where I totally fell in love with Shannon Sossamon. My friends and I saw it at a drive-in theater as the second part of a double feature. All the marketing for it up to that point was vague ads. We went to the drive-in specifically to see whatever the first movie was, can't remember the name of it, but The Matrix ended up blowing our 17-year-old minds and made us all consider if we were living in a simulation for the next week. The only ad I remember before The Matrix was just a black screen with Fishburne's monologue about how no one can tell you what The Matrix is. It showed and told nothing. Really hooked me. Honestly. The Matrix. When the trailer came out, me and everyone I knew thought it was going to be another Johnny Mnemonic. Same actor, same cyberpunk setting, same black clothes. The trailers were also very vague. What is The Matrix? We didn't know what to expect, but we had nothing better to do on a Friday night. Holy shit, was it an experience. So much so I went back 2 more times. Yeah man. The Matrix changed the game in a way that's hard to describe and no one saw it coming. We all went in expecting a run-of-the-mill action movie from the guy that was in Bill and Ted, but by the time that opening scene with Trinity was over you knew this shit was gonna be different. That's why going to a movie without any expectations is the best. Back then the trailers managed to leave the good stuff out for the audience to find out in the movie. Good times. The university I went to had a free showing of The Matrix in the campus theater. This was a couple of weeks it was supposed to premiere everywhere. My friends and I went 'cause hey, free movie, and we were bored. That movie blew my freaking mind. Also I was probably high. The Fifth Element. My husband, boyfriend at the time, wanted me to watch it with him because it's one of his favorite movies. I thought it looked dumb and boring, but he kept saying that he thinks I'd like it. Turns out I did, and now it also is one of my favorites. We also named our son after Bruce Willis's character. If you haven't seen it, watch it.